Hey there friends, Bobby here today. Hey folks, today I'm going to show you how to fix a leaky water pipe underneath your house. Yesterday I had my heat and air guy out here checking out my heat pump system, and when he was underneath the house he told me that I had a water leak, looked like around my kitchen area. So this morning I crawled underneath there, pinpointed the water leak, figured out the materials I needed to repair it and everything, and I'm going to take you underneath there now and show you the leak. And then we'll talk about the game plan to get this thing fixed today, and I'll show you how to get it done. So stay tuned. Okay friends, hey, we're underneath the house here. It's going to be a little difficult to film this, but I want to show you what I found. What we have here, make sure I want to try to point to it. This line right here, okay, where my finger is, this is a three-quarter main line. And it's shooting water straight out of the top of it, just a little pinhole leak soaking my floor joist and dripping down. Okay, now from this point over about a foot there's a T, okay, where I'm pointing at. I don't know if we'll be able to see it or not. And then that line runs all the way over to my cold water at my kitchen sink, okay? And I have noticed that there's a little leak on that line up there too. So actually we have two leaks here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a section of this three-quarter line out of here and go ahead and install me a T, and then run a piece of 1/2-inch PEX, drill me a new hole all the way through the floor, and we're going to leave all that existing. We're not going to worry about taking it out of the wall. We're just going to cut it off, take the copper out. We're going to install a new piece of PEX that has a T in it, and we'll use shark bites to make our connection on our three-quarter line and run our new line up through the floor. So friends, I'll map all that out on a whiteboard for you, and then we'll get this job done. Okay friends, I'm going to draw out on this whiteboard here what we're doing underneath the house, hopefully give you a little bit better understanding. This here being the outside wall, and the view that I'm drawing here would be like if you were underneath the house, laying flat on your back, looking straight up at the house. This is the view that we're trying to describe here today. Now, the water line, this is the kitchen area of the house, and I'm going to draw the 1/2-inch cold water line that's running from the kitchen sink over toward the center of the house, where it tees in to a 3/4 inch main water line that is running down the length of the house. Now, when we were underneath there, the two leaks that I was showing you, one of them is in this area right in here. There's a little pinhole, and it's squirting straight up on a floor joist. And then over here in the 1/2-inch line, looked like about a foot from the outside wall, we had a pinhole there that was squirting out some water too. So what we're going to do is we're going to go underneath there, and we're going to cut right here, okay? We're going to cut that, and we're going to cut right here, and we're going to cut right here. We're going to cut the bad spot out, and we're going to get rid of this piece of copper pipe, okay? And then we're going to go inside the house, inside the kitchen cabinet. We're not going to worry about taking this piece of copper pipe out of the wall and bringing it in like it's done, you know, when they built the house. We're going to simply go inside the cabinet. We're going to try to drill a hole in the back of the cabinet straight down through the floor, the subfloor. We want to make sure we're not on a joist, and I've already kind of looked at where the joists are. I think if I stay right here in line with it or stay a little bit this way, I'm going to be okay. So we're going to go back close to the wall as we can, and we're going to drill a hole, and then we're going to shove down a piece of 1/2-inch PEX from the top, just a scrap piece, just to get it underneath the house. And then I'm going to, and I'll use that as a tool to pull up my other piece, okay? So we're going to take a piece of, and I'll actually build this in the shop here. I'm going to take a piece of PEX and a piece of PEX here, and we'll have a PEX T right here, and we'll crimp. We'll use the crimping tool to crimp this PEX onto this PEX T, and then we will install the 1/2 inch piece to it also, and we'll crimp that. I'll put the little crimp on there so it kind of show you where we're going to crimp it at. So we've got a T that's a 3/4, 3/4, and 1/2 inch right there. And we'll build that inside the shop here. Go ahead and get that cut, crimped, and everything in this piece. And we'll leave this piece long right here. We'll leave it long because we're going to shove the other piece. I'll kind of make it look like we're shoving a piece down through the hole. And then we'll butt it in with this piece and we'll duct tape it together underneath. And I'll have someone help me pull this piece up through the hole, okay? Because over in this area, I don't want to try to be crawling around because it's super muddy over there and wet. So we'll try to work around it, and we'll just try to see if we can pull the new piece up through the cabinet and everything. And then we're going to use what they call shark bites, which is like a coupler that will slide right over this copper pipe and right over this PEX here, and it'll make a sealed connection. And it'll just be as simply as popping them in, so it'll be snap, snap, will be done underneath the house. And then we'll come up inside the cabinet and we will install, we'll actually crimp a new shut-off valve on there, and then we'll be ready to hook it up to our sink, and we'll be done. So friends, we're going to go ahead and do that. I'll show you how you use the crimping tool to crimp these lines to this T. Now friends, for some tools that you're going to need a tubing cutter, because you're definitely going to need one underneath the house when you cut that copper pipe. You're going to need a crimping tool, and this is kind of an inexpensive one, but it works pretty good. You can just clamp it on the clamp, use a pair of vice grips here, and you have a go-no gauge, and I'll show you how to use that. They do make some nicer ones. It's like a big old pair of like hedge clippers or something. I don't own a pair of those. You can rent those at your local home improvement store if you want to, but in tight spaces and stuff, sometimes these are easier to use, so that's why I purchased one of these. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm just gonna use a tubing cutter. They make a tool for actually cutting this PEX, but I don't own that either, but because I don't do plumbing all the time. But you can use a tubing cutter to score it, and go ahead and it cuts it off nice and square. I'm gonna go ahead and cut a piece off about 10-12 inches long. And then I'm going to show you how we crimp it onto our PEX T here. We're going to put a short piece on one end and about a 4-foot piece on the other end. And then we're going to put our piece of 1/2 inch. We're going to cut off probably about an 8-foot piece of that, and we'll get all that attached up. Now friends, we have our little PEX T right here. We got our 2 pieces cut here. I'm going to go ahead and just slide. You just simply slide the PEX over the T there. Do it on this side also. Slide up as far as you can, and now you have these little metal rings, okay? And we're going to go ahead and slide one on this end, and then we'll come back and we'll slide one on this end too, and then I'll show you how to crimp one side. Now you want to place it about 1/8 of an inch from the edge of the PEX, okay? That's going to be about the middle point of the little barb is sticking out there. Now let's go ahead and we'll stick our tool together. Actually, you can just this tool slides apart, and you can go ahead and just slide it together. And with it being about an 1/8 inch from right there, what we want to do is slide it into our tool as close to the center of the tool as you can, so you're crimping it evenly all the way across. And sometimes with the other tool I was telling you about, it's a little easier to do this. It's a little bit more aggravating, but that looks pretty good right there. And we're still about 1/8 of an inch from the end. So I'm going to go ahead and take my hands, just the pressure that I can exert with my hands, and go ahead and try to squeeze down and just as far as you can, okay, to kind of set it. Now we'll take our pair of vice grips here and we'll go ahead and grab it and squeeze down. Okay, now we'll go with that right there. We'll check that with the go-no gauge right quick. We may have to stick it back on here and crimp it a little bit more, but we may not. Let's just check it right quick. So we'll take our go-no gauge here, okay, and for the three, these are the two slots for the three quarters, and we'll slide this one over there, and if that will go all the way around, see, it actually gets a little tight, so I actually reposition it and give it just one more little crimp. That one will go around, this one will not, okay, so we're right where we need to be. We're just going to turn it just a little bit and crimp it on one more little side here, and then we should be done. Okay friends, now we went ahead and repositioned it and stuck the crimper back on there, and as you see, we got the go part of it goes nicely all the way around it, and the no part does not. So we're right in the range that we need to be for the correct amount of pressure to crimp this metal ring down, okay? And it seems nice and tight, so that's good to go. It's a little easier with that bigger pair of tools that I was telling you about, because you can just crimp down and you can't crimp too far. It's just dead on the money. And you can, if you got a lot to do, you definitely would want to rent one of those, because it'll make things a lot quicker. Now we'll go ahead and crimp this on here, and then we'll cut our piece a 1/2 inch and we'll get it crimped on here, and this piece here will be ready to carry underneath the house to go ahead and get it hooked up. So stay tuned, friends. Let me show you one more thing before we go in to drill the hole in the bottom of the cabinet. This right here, friends, is a shark bite, okay? It's like a little quick coupler, okay? And what we'll do, we'll wait and install these when we get it underneath the house. And what you do is you just start it on here, make sure you got it nice and straight, and you just push it in. It goes in about 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch, and once you push it on there and it unlocks them teeth, it will not pull off. So we'll actually, when we're underneath there, we'll slide it onto the copper pipe till it locks on there, and then we'll lock this piece in place. But I may have to do some cutting when I get underneath there, make like one more cut, so I'm not going to put these on quite yet. Now friends, we're in here inside the kitchen cabinet right underneath the sink, and we've got our drill bit and our drill finagled and positioned up in here about the best we can. About the best we can get a straight shot down is about 4 inches off that back wall. So I'm going to try to drill this. I don't know if I can hold the camera too. Now we broke through the bottom of the cabinet, but now we went in about 4 inches or so, 3 inches, and now we've got to drill on through the subflooring. Okay, so here we go. Now friends, as you can see, we're definitely through. It's about 1 foot or so long. So we're going to back this out of here, and then we'll be able to drop our new piece of pipe down through here. Okay, here's a new piece of PEX about 5 or 6 foot long, and this is what we're going to work down into the hole. And we got to kind of fish it through the other subflooring there, and hopefully here in a minute we'll get it. Should just be straight down. Well, I've never been that great at fishing. Oh, there we go. Okay, cool. So we've got it down below the floor now. It's actually going in underneath the house now. And we're going to kind of hold it this way. Hopefully it'll curve around, and we'll be able to see it when we get underneath there. And like I said, we'll duct tape our other piece to this, and then I'll have a helper actually pull this back out, and it'll pull our other piece right up here to where we can go ahead and put a new shut-off valve on it and hook it up to our sink. Okay, friends and neighbors, we have actually attached our brand new line here underneath the house, and we got the water cut back on, and we're underneath here double checking for leaks, and everything is dry as a bone, so we're very happy about that. As you can see, that's what the shark bite looks like when it's installed. And we hooked into our 3/4 line, ran it into our old hangers that were here for the copper line. We actually tied it in with some previous PEX where we had replumbed both our bathrooms a couple years ago. So friends, this job is complete now, and I want to thank you for watching the video. Don't forget to subscribe. Hope the video was helpful, and we will see you next time. Take care.